listeners, to another very interesting episode on the BizBlend podcast where real conversations meet real business. Now, I'm your host, Sana, as always, and listeners, today for this episode, we are going to dive into a topic that so many women entrepreneurs wrestle with. How do we stay authentic in business while also keeping the client at the heart of everything we do? That's an interesting question, right? It's an interesting situation to think about. Now, um, listeners, it's easy to get lost in trends, strategies, where we are seeing rapid advancements in technologies or, even comparison as well. But authenticity, it's not a buzzword actually. It is often the key to building trust, especially in industries where personal care and confidence are on the line. And my guest today, listeners, knows this better than the most. Listeners, meet Diana Daman, certified laser hair removal specialist and founder of Laser by Diana. Now, she built her business on a mission to help people feel confident, beautiful, and empowered in their own skin. And she's a proof that success doesn't come from chasing the biggest med spa model, but from focusing on each client as a unique individual. So let's talk about what it really takes to stay authentic, client focused, and thriving in business. So, Diana, welcome to the show, and I'm really honored to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, Diana. I mean, this is an industry um, which is often about scaling fast and catering, seeing as many clients as possible. I mean, because you have built your business around personal one-on-one care. How do you balance growth with staying true to that personal touch? Because that must be really really tricky sometimes.
Yeah, I balance it well with communication and I like communicating with my clients, seeing what they need exactly, talking to them when they come in. That I need this specific area to be removed, and that's what I would do. I would just focus on what the client needs.
Hmm. And do you ever feel pressure like internally or maybe externally to like grow or scale bigger, faster, like adopt the big med spa model?
Not necessarily. Of course, everyone wants to do good and expand, and sometimes, of course, anywhere you go, there's competition. But I just like to be true to myself with friendliness and have my clients that come to me and give them the best results.
Hmm. And I mean, I'm not sure whether this is a right question, but have you ever encountered situations, especially when we work in a service-oriented industry or client-facing role, we often encounter some difficult situations where it's a kind of dilemma to either hear and accept what the client or the customer is saying, but then we know that it is not possible, or there are some nuances in communicating that it cannot be done or this is difficult to be done. So have you encountered such situations?
Oh, of course. So you would just be honest. Even if I couldn't get it removed, I would tell them, like, for example, blonde hair is hard to get that off, get that removed. Darker hair, the laser reacts more.
Yeah, and I imagine like a lot of women listening, they feel the especially women listening feel the same tension, because of course, let's be honest, there are still a lot of stereotypes around you know being a woman CEO or heading a business as a woman. What the business world tells you you should do, and then what feels aligned with your values. And talking about authenticity, Diana, for you, what does it actually look like day to day with clients and then behind the scenes and setting up the systems and processes?
Just basically, like I mentioned, the communication, I would get my own clients, communicate that with my boss, and seeing when the times available, what time they can move from a different day if it doesn't work out. Just mainly the communication. And as far as texting, calling, usually texting would be the communication for me and my clients. So they can reach me at any time and any questions. Yeah.
Mm. But then, sometimes because I've gone through this, sometimes it can be really difficult to, especially when we have to kind of, as women, we have to balance our personal and professional lives. Sometimes running our own business, it can really blur those lines. So, how do you protect your authenticity without oversharing? Especially in such an industry. Do you have?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a mom, so didn't share too much. And if I have something, I don't really go in detail of what I have. I just
Mhm.
kind of would be transparent and say, couldn't come that day to service you. We would move it a different day. Just keep it short, unavailable to attend. We can reschedule this to a different day.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. And then, some people would argue that authenticity is kind of overrated, and somehow, I don't know whether it's in our kind of cultural conditioning that especially women are often asked to be people pleasers. I mean, if you are agreeing with everything, you are down to earth, then you are a like a good girl, quote unquote. uh, uh, Now, in business, clients care more about results and efficiency than your personal values. So, how would you respond to this idea that being authentic is overrated? You have to like sugarcoat everything, or maybe some things to handle certain situations.
I would just so for example, if someone came in and they just are looking for results, which you mentioned, I would just give them the best results. Authenticity is more, diverse.
Mhm.
You wouldn't always see the same cultures. Everyone in this industry is different, and it goes with like culture as well. And the result itself when you come in to Laser by Diana speaks for itself when you come in for a session and see the difference.
Mm. Yeah, the results, actions are louder than words, of course.
Exactly, exactly.
Super, super. And um, now another. I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but another perspective is that women sometimes use authenticity as a shield. That it becomes an excuse to not playing bigger in business. Kind of becoming risk averse. What do you believe, Diana, on this?
On this one, I believe, I mean, it could be somewhat true. So for that one, it would just again go with like many people think
Mhm.
men take over, okay? Are more the dominant one working. But girls, or women, I should say, empower as well. We want to have our own income. We want to have our own business, our own clientele.
Yeah,
So we want to do things ourselves.
true. That is so true. That is so true. I mean, irrespective of the gender discussion, that's what I believe. That especially for women, it is really really essential to uh, kind of have that independence to take decisions on your own, have an income. You don't have to completely depend, and that doesn't mean that we shouldn't depend on anyone, or we shouldn't look um, towards anyone for emotional, or maybe sometimes help. I mean, that doesn't mean, but it's a very very interesting reframe because it challenges the idea that authenticity is about staying small. And of course, your journey, Diana, it can actually be the boldest business strategy of all. So Thank you so much. And if our listeners they would like to connect with you and explore more about Laser by Diana, what would be the best way?
Laser underscore by underscore Diana underscore Instagram. So just laser by Diana, I should say. And then Google laser by Diana, Facebook, Snapchat, all that.
Super, super. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes, and I would encourage all of our listeners to check out Laser by Diana. Give a shout out, and of course, this conversation reminded us that authenticity isn't just a tagline; it is a daily practice. Whether it's honoring our clients individually or to setting boundaries that will also preserve our own energy. So, thank you so much, Diana, once again.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you to all the listeners for tuning into BizBlend. Until next time, keep blending strategy with soul. And of course, remember that your business grows best when it grows from your truth. With that, this is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.